Hi, my name is Adriel William, and today's video is about a topic which I had been pondering a lot in the past, and it's about how you can be more competent in your life and strive to be less arrogant at the same time. And this is something I've been pondering a lot in the past, and which I always wanted to find some optimum answer or a sensible way how you could act out or live your life in this world that makes you more positive and more meaningful. And I feel people who strive to be competent, who work hard, who try to excel in their life, they have a high capability that they might present themselves to be arrogant in the world. And it's just we need to understand that as humans, there's a part of us which is positive and which is presentable, which is nice, and then there's a part of us which is the shadow, the dark side. It's just like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. You have a dual personality, all of us. And if we try to deny our negative side, it actually gets more repressed and it hides in the dark side. And whenever given the chance, it will pound back or it will rebound and it will express itself. And just giving you an example, if you've been watching the news, you will hear about the Catholic priest or the Maulvi or somebody who has been living a very religious life, and all of a sudden then he's harassing kids or molesting underage people. And why do that happen? There's a whole psychological sense behind it. Why does these kind of things happen? Because when people try to suppress their evil to the point that they will deny it, it's going to gather around in their brain or in their subconscious brain, and whenever given the chance, it's going to express itself with much more anger. If you've seen the movie Me, Myself and Irene, that's kind of a similar topic. And I feel as human beings, we should be well aware of the dark side and the shadow. And the thing with that is, when you're aware of it, you could negotiate with your negative traits. You could negotiate with your shadow. You should be able to know that I'm capable of acting out to be arrogant. I'm capable of acting out to be negative, and it does exist in me, but I'm not going to deny it. The only thing, I will not let it control me, and I will let it be there. And the only time I will let it come out or I will utilize it when there's a high need of protecting myself and the people around me. And you should be capable enough of utilizing it for a better good or for a bigger purpose. And that's a very deep concept, that even the evil inside you or the shadow inside you, you should be able to control it, or at least strive to control it to the point that you should utilize it to reach a bigger goal, a bigger, meaningful, positive goal in your life. And how do you do that? The point is, if you look at the idea of, or the mythology of a benevolent father and a tyrant father. So a dad or a father who's benevolent, who's very nice to his children, who gives them, who provides for them, who protect them, also has the capability to be a tyrant, to be a controlling human being. And that's very common that you see. And see, this is the fun part. When you see both end of the spectrum, then you realize that you need to find the common line, the optimum line. If you think that whatever you achieved in your life is just because of your hard work, well, you're lying to yourself. It's not just because of your hard work. There have been series of events that has accumulated with your hard work and given you the success that you have today. And when you realize this phenomena, then you can understand that being arrogant is very childish and is very superficial. In order to succeed in life, you have to be creative. You have to be innovative. And in order to be innovative, you have to be a fool. And there's a very wonderful saying that says, the fool is the precursor to a savior. So the people who achieved something in their life, or who were the savior for the world, or who did something really great in the world, were actually fools at first. And that's what keeps you humble. And that's what keeps you growing in your life. And the day you let it go, the day you become arrogant and you give away to that dark side, or give away to you submit to your shadow, you're not going to grow anymore. And this is the point. The shadow will remain there, the arrogance will remain there, but you need to control it. You need to control it, that you will only allow it to be utilized or come at front if something at far is at danger. If people around you or you are at danger, that's when you have all the capability to do evil, but you strive your best to do good. You need to understand that you don't know everything in the world. For example, have you ever read how the periodic table in chemistry was discovered? Well, the inventor or the guy who invented it actually saw a dream and saw a snake, and that's how he ended up managing the transitional elements, which was a very difficult thing. And how come he had this idea in his dream? No scientific, intellectual fact has been able to prove it. So the human life or the phenomena of human life doesn't really work on the realms of intellects and in the realm of science. There are some things which are beyond science, which are beyond the phenomena of explanation. And when you realize and when you see the whole spectrum of the world and how things work, then you realize you don't know everything. And when you know that you don't know everything, that makes you much more of a humble person. But while being humble, you strive for every possible option to be more competent in the things that are right in front of you. Even if it's cleaning your room, even if it's trying to speak as much truth as possible. So you try to do that, and that will make your life much more better. And on a practical note, when you're giving an interview and when you're in your professional life or when you're with your family or friends, and there's something that you do not know, admit it. If you're wrong, and if you're in a place where people are understanding and are not manipulating to their core, you should admit to the fact if you're wrong. But what makes you competent is that you know you're wrong, but you're willing to strive hard and honestly pursue the things, and you're honestly trying to learn the things that you don't know, that in future hopefully you will be a better person. And if you keep doing that, if you keep following this phenomena, eventually you will learn a lot of things in your life, and that will make you more competent, more honest, and more presentable to your peers. And that's something much more valuable. That's something I would say much more attractive and much more meaningful in life than just faking yourself to be more arrogant and more competent. That's very superficial and shallow. And one other advice that I would give in your school interviews, in your professional life, in other places, that you could tell them that I don't know everything, but I'm one of the most hardworking person wherever I am. I try to be the most hardworking person in the room I'm at. And I will continue to do that in order to succeed in a way that will be beneficial for me and for the organization. And when you commit to this fact and you act out to be sacrificial in your life, people will appreciate you, even though you're not going to be somebody who's Mr. Perfect, because perfection is never possible, but you're sacrificing and you're moving forward. And that's something very cherishable. That's something heroic, I think, and that's something which should be given its due respect. And people, I believe that that's something you should be pursuing. And before ending this video, I'm going to share a psychological technique that has helped me a lot in the past, and maybe it will help you in your professional and personal life, is that beware of people who try to act out to be competent, and they try to show or present themselves to be competent, and they might be to some extent, but they are camouflaging their psychological pathologies. Most of us have psychological issues that we aren't even aware of, and these people have some kind of childhood trauma, or they had something in their past that really made them resentful. They could have like a superiority complex or an inferiority complex, and they might be suffering from it and they don't even know about it, and they continue to act out in the world as a hyper intellectual, or a person who's very specialized in their skill set, but in reality, if you dig deeper into their psyche, they are just exhausting, or they are just trying to steam out their resentfulness to the world, and they are camouflaging it behind their competence. And that's what you want to be aware of, whether this person who's pushing you, and that's good. If somebody is pushing you, you need to stand up and be competent about it and work harder. But is that person pushing you to be a better human being and be a more skillful person, or he's just pushing you for the sake of being more resentful and taking out his own aggression and issues upon you? And you have to be very careful with that, and you have to look at that person from a third eye. You have to look out how he acts out in the world and what's his core like. And if you figure out, okay, this is a person who's genuinely nice and genuinely want positive for the world, but sometime he tries to push people to their limit, and that's a good thing. Some people do that, and I usually appreciate it, that you're making people work harder for the sake of good. But if some people are doing it just to be more mean and take out their aggressional issues, then you have to be careful with them, and you should take a step back and create a distance so they wouldn't bully you around or push you or create psychological issues for you. And that has been something very helpful in the past, and I hope it will help you in future as well. So I hope this video makes sense to you, and I hope it will be helpful to you in your professional and personal life, and hopefully we'll see you in a more meaningful video in the future. Thank you.